Hey folks, I'm Donnie the Fuzzy Faced Fisherman. Thanks for joining me at Red Dirt Fishing. I'm going to show you 3 baits I'm using to catch largemouth bass in the month of October in Red Dirt Country. All right, I want to start off by saying happy fall, y'all, from Red Dirt Fishing. The fall bass patterns are upon us. The water temperatures have cooled off substantially. I was in the boat a couple days ago and I was surprised to see the water temperatures less than 80 degrees. I was amazed. It's awesome this time of year to have those water temperatures start cooling off already and those fish moving up. The day temperatures are cooling off. The morning temperatures are kind of brisk sometimes. Last couple mornings have been quite brisk, down in the 40s. So my morning ritual fishing patterns have changed a little bit. Let me tell you what I'm doing, right? So the fish aren't in the main body of the lake anymore. Again, when I was in the boat, I cruised the main body of the water and I couldn't find any fish. I found a couple bait balls, but I didn't find anything hunting them. To me, it seemed like the main body, the main concentration of bass have moved out of the main body and into the fingers of the lakes. And so my typical fishing day, if I was to plan one out, would go something similar to this. And I would, the first lure I'm going to fish with, I'm going to tie on in the month of October. I'm going to look out for the shallow waters in the morning. Those big largemouth love to cruise those shallows in the morning. Vegetation, no vegetation, rocks, no rocks. Under docks, it doesn't really matter. That shallower water, those bass are up cruising looking for those shad. At least in my neck of the woods, it's shad. Sometimes bluegill. I've got a couple ponds that have overrun with bluegill, and there isn't a shad to be found in one of them. But those shallower waters, the first lure I'm going to tie on is going to be a jerkbait, right? And depending on what kind of water I'm fishing on is going to depend on the jerkbait. This one's a Duckett jerkbait. It's a tri-hook, but it's definitely a flashier jerkbait. It does float. It's not a very fast floater. You pitch it out there and you got to wait for a minute for it to come on back up, but it's got a good rattle to it. If the water is a little clear, I've got some ponds that have got absolutely beautifully clear water. I'm going to use something a little more translucent, but this is, again, it's another jerkbait, tri-hook jerkbait. Hooks are a little bit smaller on this one. This one's a Nomad. Beautiful rattle in this sucker too. This guy is a good floater. I pitched it out there and it just sits on top. You give it a jerk, it'll come down under, but it comes right back up to the top pretty quick. I'm going to work this guy along. If I can find some vegetation, this is where I'm going to work this guy. This one down here, this one sinks a little bit further. It dies a little bit further when you jerk on it. I'm going to try to keep it out of vegetation. All 3 hooks, and they're even a little bigger hooks as well. I don't want to get it hung up in vegetation. But as the waters, or as the morning progresses, all right, that's the first bait I'm going to use. The second bait I'm going to use is going to be after the morning has progressed a little bit, and the fish have moved back out into those deeper spots along those fingers of the lakes. I'm still looking at a little bit deeper water in midday as the water temperatures do rise up and get close to the 80 degree mark, 78, 79, 80 degrees. I'm going to look for those shelves, right? And when I say shelves, I'm looking at shelves within fingers of bodies of water. If you're fishing in a river, it's a little bit different, but in a body of water, I'm looking for the shelf that is in a finger of the main body, if that makes sense to you. And what I'm going to fish over there is going to be, I'm going to fish a segmented bait, right? And this one here is a baby bluegill, but that's what he looks like. He's got a good weight to him. I think this is a 3/4 ounce. I've got another one here that's, I believe this is a Sexy Shad. It might be a Sexy Shad ripoff. But I'm going to fish a segmented bait, and I'm going to try to get it out there in the open water, open clear water, and I'm going to try to fish it slow, fast, whatever. I'm trying to work that lure and find what the fish are looking for. But that's going to be my open water bait. A little bit deeper water allow me to get down and find those fish at deeper depths when I'm not fishing the shallows in the morning. Now, I've also got my third bait. My third bait for the month of October is going to be a worm, right? And so I'm actually going to be specific about the worm, a weightless worm. I'm going to fish a weightless worm, whether it be, I've got this Yum here, the Dinger. This guy here, I got this guy in the mystery tackle box last month. These are fun. They're quite pretty actually. They're call it the Bass Candy from X Zone Lures. But I'm gonna fish a worm. I'm gonna fish it weightless. I will go back and forth. I'll tell you, I might fish it drop shotted, or I might fish it Texas rigged weightless, just enough so it dangles and flutters down through the water. I'm looking for that flutter action as it drops through the water, nice and slow, dropping it down in the vegetation. When I rig it, I'm gonna rig it 3/0, 4/0 hook, somewhere in there. Don't cheap out on the hook. Get you a good size hook, because I'm telling you guys, that hook's really all that's gonna be dragging it down. When you got one of these these float, these X-Zone lures, X-Zone worms float. So as it's floating down, I'm looking for this flutter action as it drops through the water. I'm gonna look for some, a good lay down. I'm gonna look for the edge of some vegetation. I'm gonna look for a place where I can drop this just on the edge of whatever that bass might be hanging out on, for him to get out and come get it, right? And this is gonna be something that I can fish in the mornings and the afternoons. It doesn't matter. This is gonna be my go-to number 3 bait that I'm fishing for the month of October. Now, my bonus bait for the month of October, this is the year of the jig, and so might as well stick with it. I'm going to use a skipping jig, right? And I have a couple of them that I've got here, pitching, skipping jigs for some docks, right? I mentioned docks earlier. This is what I'm gonna use. I've been practicing my skipping, and as long as you've got a trailer that doesn't have some sort of crazy appendage hanging down here too much, you can usually get it, if you're learning. I'm still learning, like I said. I've been practicing, get that jig skipped up underneath some of those docks, let it sink, and find the depth. And you can change it up. If you got a fish finder, you can see where the fish are hanging out. If not, if you're just exploring and you're looking for the fish via lure, pitch it out there. I would recommend you start high and pitch it out there, let it sit for, count to 2 and work it in, let it sink. Work it in a little bit, let it sink. And as you reel in, pitch it out there, wait a little bit longer, count to 5, let it sink. Work it in, let it sink. And work those different depths. I don't know how deep your water might be that you're fishing in. But guys, that's gonna be the lures that I'm fishing with for the month of October. Here at Red Dirt Country, we've got not just those lures to fish with. I'm gonna be fishing probably with a few other things. But those are 3 baits that I will be using, plus the bonus bait in the month of October. I appreciate you joining me. I am Donnie the Fuzzy Face Fisherman, and until next time, tight lines to you.